In his second comeback fight this year, Anthony Joshua knocked Robert Helenius out in the 7th round of their battle at the O2 Arena in London, drawing mixed results from fans and critics of the British superstar. With excitement now as high as ever for matchup versus Deontay Wilder, here are 5 things we learned from Joshua's performance over the weekend. Number 1. Derrick James has been effective as a trainer. Although Joshua has always been a good athlete, one of the critiques he's drawn is that he's been too stiff and upright, leaving him open to counter shots from opponents. Against Helenius, he showed more dexterity in his upper body, changing levels from the head to the body, which ultimately led to the knockout. Number 2. Joshua still has knockout power. After his cautionary victory over Jermaine Franklin in April, many thought that either Joshua no longer carried his noted power or that he no longer believed in it after suffering back-to-back defeats to Usyk. Even the best fighters need time to rebuild their psyche after losses, and it now appears the showing against the tough Franklin was simply an anomaly. Number 3. Joshua needed rounds. While some felt Joshua's obligation was to match his rival's first-round knockout of Helenius, it was nearly impossible due to Helenius' strategy coming into the fight. Against Wilder, Helenius elected to press the action, whereas against Joshua he employed more of a herky-jerky type of style. This caused Joshua to be methodical in his approach, although some would argue he's still apprehensive regardless of his opponent. Number 4. Joshua is finally mentioning Deontay Wilder. Since 2018, the Deontay Wilder-Anthony Joshua fight has been the biggest ticket in the heavyweight division. Despite this mega showdown being temporarily derailed by defeats to Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk and Undisputed no longer being at stake, Wilder vs. Joshua is quite possibly still the biggest fight in boxing now that Spence vs. Crawford has taken place. Previously, Joshua rarely mentioned Wilder's name, even when pressed by reporters. But after Saturday's victory, he seemed more focused than ever on the Bronze Bomber.
I'm just focused on fighting him now. That's it. That's what I'm focused on. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to compare what would have been, and it's a weakness. I'm just focused on smashing his head in now. That's it.
Number 5. Joshua must be better against Wilder. With all the positives from his victory against Helenius aside, even his most ardent supporters would admit that though Joshua continues to improve, he still suffered a swollen eye dealing with Helenius's jab. Though Joshua has shown promise in his last 2 fights under 2022 Trainer of the Year Derrick James, he has to remember the most important thing when facing Deontay Wilder. And that is that all it takes is one mistake against the most dangerous puncher in boxing, and if he doubts himself, or second-guesses himself even for one split second, he could end up waking up and asking himself what happened after suffering what would undoubtedly be the most devastating loss of his career. If you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe.